Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome today to the review of the Traska Freediver. Now this review has been a long time coming. I've been trying to get my hands on one of these for 6 months. Indeed, John, the owner of Traska, sent one to me about 6 months ago. Unfortunately, the prototype he sent me ended up about 300 kilometers away from here in the Australian Capital Territory, and I assume is currently adorning someone's wrist over there. Thanks for that, Australia Post. Anyway, here we are. I'm delighted to get another crack at the Traska today. And in a channel first, I'm going to be conducting a live Q&A session at the end of this video. So be sure to have your questions ready. Let's flip the camera and get into the review. So is it a question of better late than never, or should I have taken the fact that the prototype ended up near Canberra as a sign? Was the Traska Freediver best avoided? And why was I so keen to get this watch in my hands in the first place? Well, that's a fairly easy one to answer. There is a lot of appeal for me personally in this watch. I think this is right up my street. 40mm diameter, retro inspired dive watch, but it's an original and with an interesting selection of materials used, like the sapphire bezel insert and the coating on the watch and the bracelet, helping it remain scratch proof long term. So 40mm in diameter, 13.5mm thick, 48mm lug tip to lug tip, though those drilled lugs do bring that inboard just a little bit, 20mm lug width, and size for my 7-inch wrist on the supplied all stainless steel bracelet. This one weighs in at bang on 160 grams, so again just about the optimum weight for a 40mm dive watch. 316L stainless steel case, crown, bezel and full stainless steel bracelet. Now we do have screw pins rather than push pins in these solid links, and a very pleasant Traska branded clasp here with that lovely kind of Celtic whirl. Traska etched into the fold over clasp, double security pusher, and they've even gone for a nice little bit of kind of perlage, some decoration on the clasp. And finishing is spot on. I had a look at the photos of this one 6 months ago and I thought that they had got it just right in terms of the finish, and they have. Lovely brushing on the side, nice little chamfered edge there, and again that gorgeous Traska logo etched into the vintage style unguarded crown. Nice coin edge bezel, again very nicely machined, well integrated with that sapphire bezel insert, and a lovely piece of double domed sapphire crystal. So far so good then. All the specs are looking perfectly reasonable for the price. So what is the price? Well, they were on Kickstarter earlier on this year at around $319. They've gone up a little bit, and the price does vary depending on whether you go for the metal bezel insert or the sapphire bezel insert. But you should be able to get yourself one of these on your wrist for under $400 US with a little bit of change left over. Zooming on the dial, again you can see that lovely Traska logo there under the double triangle at 12, just printed on with the automatic underneath and Freediver 100 meters. They've cunningly kind of sidestepped the fact that this has only got 100 meters of water resistance by calling it a Freediver. Very clever. You do get a screw down crown though, obviously screw down case back, as I will show you later on. So we've got triangles at the 3, the 6 and the 9, and a double triangle up there at the 12 o'clock. The rest of them, I guess they're little kind of truncated arrowheads all applied. The rest of the writing is just painted on, and there's a nice, neat little chapter ring with a minute track all the way around the outside. But a very pretty dial. The hands are laser cut. They could have perhaps been slightly larger. They're a little bit nondescript when compared to the rest of the watch, but I think it's a pretty cohesive look overall. And the bracelet is a good one. All brushed. Now Traska are claiming that they have a proprietary clear coat on this that makes it 10 times harder than stainless steel, 316L stainless steel would be if it wasn't coated. This should help the watch remain scratch free, or certainly have minimal scuffing and marking on there for as long as possible. The whole idea of this Freediver is that it's a tool watch. It's a watch that you can use for pretty much anything and everything, and it will wear very well. Nice set of dimensions on it, but also that clear coat means that it will stay looking good for a lengthy period of time. And continuing with that tooly, do anything and everything theme, there is a chunk of BGW9. Plenty of it in the hands and the indices, and they've managed to pump a decent amount of the stuff into the sapphire bezel insert as well. I would imagine that the stainless steel bezel insert would be similar, but certainly a decent amount of lume, adding to those tooly credentials. Popping a link to show you a simple but attractive caseback featuring a Freediver, and of course advertising the fact that this watch has sapphire crystal. It is waterproof to 100 meters and is made of coated stainless 316L steel. Now the movement in this is an NH3x. The NH3x is the dateless variant of the NH3x, the 4R30 series of movements manufactured by Seiko. I didn't even bother keeping a movement check app running on this one because they are so good. I rarely get a duffer. 24 jewel hacks and hand winds, 42-hour power reserve, rugged, reliable and damn accurate. And the fact that Traska have actually made the extra effort to put an NH3x in this one rather than an NH3x means you don't get that ghost position. It goes straight from locking to adjusting the time, which is a nice little touch. And there is the watch sitting very sweetly on top of my 7-inch wrist. Looks fantastic. 40mm, relatively short lug to lug, a little bit of curvature to those lugs. Fits very nicely, doesn't sit high, doesn't bobble around at all. And as noted, that luscious, lustrous sheen from the sapphire bezel contrasting and complementing, I think, the nice minty green dial. It's not an overbearing or overpowering, it's not a garish colour of green they've used, and lovely clasp, nice little chamfered edge to that clasp as well. When you see something like this, when you see what a small company, what a one-man band effectively John is working on his own, is capable of producing, it just goes to show that there are original designs left. You can still come up with something that isn't just a Submariner homage. Not that I've got a problem with subby homages, but it's nice to get an original design along once in a while. And there it is, zoomed out for a little bit of perspective. 40mm is going to be a sweet spot, sweet size for the majority of guys. And there it is, looking pretty good in some Sydney late afternoon sunshine. Now the coating that they've used on the case and on the bracelet, you can tell it's been coated. It does have that slightly darker look to the metal. You can tell it is not just a regular stainless steel bracelet, and that sapphire bezel insert. I do like these. I think this is maybe the 4th or 5th watch now that I've come across with sapphire bezel inserts. Very, very nice little feature, and it's not going to scratch at all. Unlike an aluminium bezel insert, you're not going to get any scratching from this one. So just bear that in mind if you're interested in one of these and you're selecting between the two different bezel options that are available to you. So that's what I like. What do I not like? Well, it's a pretty small list today. As noted, the hands could be maybe just a little bit more impactful than the current slightly small, slightly discreet set that they have chosen for this watch, but I guess it is in keeping with the overall vintage look of the piece. And the price for north of 300, just shy of 400 US dollars, it's certainly possible to pick up an ETA 2824 or a Sellita 200 Swiss automatic movement rather than the venerable but cheap Seiko movement that powers this one. Perhaps that's something that one of you might ask me later on in the Q&A session at the end. My only other complaint, and it's a minor one, is regarding the bracelet. As good looking as it is, you just get the feeling that they've scraped the budget a little bit thin on the bracelet. You know, it's like when you put 2 bits of bread in the toaster and you go to the fridge and you only find enough butter for about 1.5 slices, and it's got that feeling about it. It has screw links, but the screws were very thin and you're going to have to be careful not to bend them if you're adjusting this one more than once. And the fold over clasp, it looks nice, but it's wafer thin and the finishing on the edges not as smooth as it could be. But these are minor niggles. This Traska Freediver has certainly been worth the 6-month wait. I'm delighted to be able to get my hands on one and to show you one in the end. And also not to be sniffed at is a 3-year transferable warranty. You don't often get a 3-year warranty on a micro brand, and you certainly don't often get a transferable 3-year warranty. Again, that's just displaying a little bit of confidence. If you check their Kickstarter campaign, John is not trying to hide this watch's Chinese origins. In fact, he's very proud of the fact that he went to China himself and has been working closely with the manufacturers over there. A lot of the stuff that we buy as Swiss made and made in Germany all comes out of a factory in China, so I'm much more comfortable when companies are upfront about the origins of their watches, as Traska have been with this one. I really enjoy this piece. I think as a first offering, they have done everything they set out to do and more. I think it would be a great long-term everyday piece for people, as long as you don't mind the lack of date functionality. Maybe there'll be a Freediver too, with a couple of tweaks, maybe another $10 spent on that bracelet, and possibly the option of a date wheel as well. So there you have it, the Traska Freediver then. I hope you've got your questions ready for the Q&A. All right, who's first? You, sir. Yes, you on the mobile phone. Do I recommend this watch? Well, that's a nice easy one to start. Yes, absolutely. If you have been swithering about this one, if you've been sitting on the fence, I think you can buy it with confidence. Very nicely designed, nicely manufactured piece. And yes, hello? Yes, hi. Yeah, I know what you're saying. For about $400, it's easy to find a piece with a Swiss movement, as you suggest, Salita 200 or the ETA 2824. Do I feel that this one is overpriced because it has an NH35 in it? Not necessarily. I'm fine with the NH35. I think it's a fantastic movement, and I think I'm okay with paying $400 for a watch with an NH35 in it, assuming the money has been spent on the design, on the details, on creating something original, on creating a high quality product. And I think that that's the case with the Traska. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. All right, time for one more. Yes, miss, yes. Can you have a signed photograph of me? Of course you can, miss, of course you can. For your mother. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.